Silence, silence. Very, very, very important announcement. Those two housemates you just saw are fake housemates. So they're going to be doing some interesting stuff in the coming days. So pay attention to both of them, all right? Well, that's the end of the show tonight.
We saw two fake housemates introduced into the house. The Saturday night party with Guinness and Beauty gets a first strike. Welcome guys to our channel. My name is Tosin and today I will give you the breakdown from day 7. So let's start with level 2 housemates, which is Beauty. Beauty and Ilebaye had like an argument in the house, and Beauty started cussing at Ilebaye, and it was a very long one, and this actually happened right after the Saturday night party. So this went into the night where Beauty, went ahead to even pull Ilebaye's cap and wig at the dining area. And Bryann, seeing that, he stood up and actually, confronted Beauty, telling her that her actions were really wrong. So looking at the fact that other housemates around Ilebaye, like Amaka and Daniella, saw what happened, they just needed to calm Ilebaye down to just make sure that she does not, react based on the rules and regulations of Big Brother Naija. So looking at the fact that Beauty was just, all over her feelings and all, it was just related to her relationship with GROOVY. And some things happened at the Saturday night party which made her, react that way, in the sense that she had to talk back at Ilebaye, screamed at her, shouted at her, and she was actually disturbing the peace of the house. Girl, we the viewers were watching and we were like, do you know what? She might actually get a strike for this. And she did get a strike for it when Biggie summoned all the housemates of level 2 to the lounge, and then he gave his verdict on what happened, referring to what happened between Ilebaye and Beauty. So he read the rule book and also reminded the housemates of the rules and consequences of flouting them. So Biggie gave Beauty a strike and also gave Ilebaye a warning, which also, goes to the rest of the housemates in level 2. So, talking about Beauty versus Ilebaye, Bryann did mention that Beauty was doing too much, that she raised her hands to remove Ilebaye's wig and cap. Bryann stood up to confront her and also told her that her actions were very wrong. Other housemates like Amaka, Daniella, Kess, Cyph, and Christy were not in support of what Beauty did. Okay, so still talking about level 2 housemates, where Amaka did mention that if all the housemates were in the same house, they were all in the same house, Beauty wouldn't be attracted to GROOVY, which I totally agree to, because there are other guys in level 1. So should be more focused, in doing other things than, trying to be with GROOVY. So moving on to level 1 house, HERMES, he was talking about his girlfriend, he was gisting with DOTUN and Allison, where he mentioned that he would like to marry his 2 girlfriends, and they were both in shock, like, wow, that he was going to do such a thing. But this was a discussion he had with Allison and DOTUN. So still on level 1 housemates, SHEGGZ did mention to DOYIN that he feels that Christy looks like a good person. So looking at the fact that all the housemates were together in one room for the Saturday night party, it felt like they had more interactions, they danced together, vibed together, entertained us on our TV screens. So I think some of these housemates had reservations, or they had comments about other housemates they saw at the Saturday night party. So talking about the lovebirds in level 1 house, which is SHEGGZ and Bella, SHEGGZ told Bella, I like you, and Bella thought she heard I love you. And SHEGGZ said he doesn't use that word like that. These guys are just, into themselves. They love each other, or I would say they like each other, and you'd always see them together in the house. And this is actually referring to the fact that other housemates, their fellow housemates, notice the fact that Bella and SHEGGZ are always together, and they tag them as the Ozo and Nengi of their season. That's so funny. Okay, so still on Bella, Bella was just seeing SHEGGZ that she had a good time at the Saturday night party, and it felt like all the housemates really had a great time, partying and vibing with the 2 DJs that were invited to perform at the Saturday night party. So going back to level 2 house, this was a conversation between Kess and Beauty, where Beauty admitted that she is to be blamed for her actions of what happened between herself, Ilebaye, and Bryann. And she's the only one interested in group tasks. And she's only interested in group tasks right now. She's not interested in ships or friendships or any other thing. But the color for group tasks that she will put in effort 100%. So it's the whole background of this mess started from the Saturday night party between Groovy and Beauty. And this was because, Beauty had issues with Ilebaye putting her mouth into her matter with Groovy. The issue went on for hours and it got to Bryann. So Beauty provoked Ilebaye by taking her cap off at the dining table. This got Bryann angry and he charged at her, telling Beauty that her actions were wrong. So Kess and Cyph also managed to calm Beauty down because Beauty could not control her emotions and the way she felt as at the time the issue happened. So Bryann felt that Beauty's outburst was unnecessary, that she only knew Groovy just a week ago, and it was true. Looking at the fact that all the housemates, they all met for the first time just a week ago, and you're already into someone you met a week ago, like you love the person, you have feelings for the person, and that situation is actually messing up with your game, messing up with your emotions that you really need to check yourself out. So Bryann felt that Beauty's outburst was unnecessary, that she only knew Groovy just 1 week ago. So now let's just move to the eviction diary session with the level 2 housemates. Starting off with Daniella. Daniella thinks that Bryann or Cyph might be evicted when Biggie asked the question. Moving on to Kess. Kess said he doesn't know who might be evicted, so he has no idea, and his OP is not the one. So moving on to Phyna, the queen of crews. Phyna talked about her experience in the house. She said it was fun and she's happy to get into the house. On talking about who she thinks might be evicted, she said she has no idea on who might leave and one person might actually destabilize them a bit. Moving on to Bryann, he talked about his experience so far. It has been a great one and he's really grateful to Biggie and the organizers of the show. So he thinks that it might be between himself, Khalid, or Cyph who might leave on Sunday night. So moving on to Ilebaye. Ilebaye talked about her experience in the house, which has been adventurous, and she feels that she has no idea who will leave the house. Pharmsavi talked about his experience in the house as exciting. He described it as exciting and he made new friends. So talking about who might be evicted, he did mention Bryann or Khalid, saying that they were strong competitors during the Edo House games. Moving on to Beauty, our beauty queen. Talking about her experience in the house, she said it has been interesting, and who might be evicted, she said she has no idea. It could be her, that she needs peace and the game is the game. Moving on to Cyph. Cyph talked about his week in the house as he described it as exciting and challenging. And on who might be evicted, he picked Bryann, Khalid, or Amaka, or himself. Saying that himself and Khalid are threats to level 1 housemates. So moving on to Christy, she talked about her experience, saying it was great and good, and she's getting to know other housemates. On who she thinks might be evicted, she said she honestly has no idea on who might be evicted. So let's move on to Khalid. Khalid talked about his experience so far in the house, and he sees it as a great opportunity to be, in the house. And talking about who might be evicted, he did mention Christy Ho. So moving on to Amaka. Amaka talked about her time in the house, and it was short and fun. And on who she thinks might be evicted, she said she does not know what the viewers are saying. She doesn't know there's really nobody coming into her head, so she had no idea in short. So moving on to Groovy. Groovy talked about his experience in the house and the week, and of course this had to do with Beauty because he had a lot of issues with Beauty. If you guys watched the show, you remember that Groovy and Beauty, they had this off and on relationship, and it's really affecting both of them. They just need to realize the fact that this is a game, and they need to really focus their head in the game. So he talked about his issues with Beauty, And he also did mention that he feels that Amaka might leave, and his reason is because she didn't get to bond with other housemates, but she's a great person. So talking about shipping, shipper, shippest, which is lovers in the game, Daniella and Khalid, of course, we saw them cuddling, not cuddling, but they were under the duvet, and they had discussions, on the bed. Moving on to level 1 housemates, CHICHI mentioned that Bryann was cool, and this was the fact that they met at the Saturday night party. Okay. So let's just talk about the live eviction show. This was the first live eviction show, which took place on Sunday, and Ebuka played some highlights from the head of house games. We also went to the house to ask questions from level 1 housemates, and also asked ELOSWAG about his week as the head of house. Okay, so looking at the fact that the game has started and everyone is into it, people are also realizing the fact that they have 100 million naira at stake. Ebuka announced 2 new housemates to the house. So we have Deji, who loves to gist, eat, party, and sleep. He also calls himself a lover boy. So Deji went into the level 1 house, and we feel that this might be a disruption in level 1 house, looking at the fact that SHEGGZ and Bella are together, and the other cute guys in the house, just like DOTUN and ADEKUNLE in the house. Moving on to the next housemate who was introduced to us, which is Modella. Modella is from Ocean State. She says she's multi-talented and she's also a creative. She's fun and she's a vibe. She also mentioned that she's a lover and a fighter, and she's 100% happy to be in the house. So we should expect more energy from her. So Modella was moved to level 2 house, and the welcome was not so great because they were not expecting a new housemate. So the 2 housemates joined the house, and Ebuka announced on stage towards the end of the show that they are both fake housemates. So let's see how the drama will unfold this week. Let's see what the new twists and turns would look like, and let's see what assignment they'll be delivering on behalf of Biggie. So at the end of the eviction show, we all moved into the house where the level 2 house, where GROOVY had to apologize publicly to Beauty, immediately after the eviction show, and I want them to still be friends. So GROOVY did apologize, because of the outburst from the previous night, and it really cost her a strike. So GROOVY apologized, but we didn't see Beauty apologizing back to GROOVY. So guys, towards the end of tonight's show, talking about Bella and SHEGGZ, in level 1, Bella said to SHEGGZ, you know what's going on, what's going through my mind? And SHEGGZ asked that what? And Bella said, you're so handsome. SHEGGZ responded to say, thanks babe, you too, you're so beautiful. So we are trying to see what's going to happen between Bella and SHEGGZ, in the coming weeks. Of course, they need to remember that they're in the house for a game to win 100 million naira. All right, so we've come to the end of this video, and I would like to say thank you to everyone who has watched this video. Please remember to follow us on all our social media platforms at OloriSuperGal, and do not forget to subscribe on YouTube, which is OloriSuperGal TV. Please turn on notifications so that when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. Please like, comment, and share this content, and I will see you next time in the next video. But for now, it's bye for now. Au revoir.